Hi, and welcome to Climate Camp TV. We've got Simon Hughes in the studio with us. Simon, let's cut to the chase. What do you think causes climate change?
It's the activities of human beings which have forgotten that we are stewards of what we inherit. Bluntly, we've behaved as if there wasn't a tomorrow. And Britain has a particular responsibility. That's why it's very important we're here. Countries like ours that started the Industrial Revolution have created a whole legacy of destruction in their wake. So if we're going to change the world, it has to start in countries like ours and the States. And it does require lots of action by everybody and fast.
Do you think it's everyone in this country who's responsible for climate change, or do you think it's some people more than others?
Some people definitely more than others. The people who fly more, the people who don't worry about how much energy they use, the people who drive more, the people who waste energy, the people who just don't think through these things. Some people are fantastic. Some people try really, really hard. Most of the people here, I guess, will have almost no damaging footprint because they think about these things. You were telling me you cycle. I try to cycle a lot. It makes a huge difference. It's actually better for you as well, which is another benefit. But no, it's absolutely differential. Some firms, small firms, try really hard. They recycle their water. They make sure that they create their own energy. Some big firms just create damage, haven't thought about it. But the culture is now, the pressure's on everybody.
But I think here at the camp we make a big thing, and we have since Drax in 2006, we're saying that climate change isn't about taking individual action, it's about taking collective action and seeing the kind of things we can do. Things like the Vestas factory occupation, where the workers occupied their factory to try and change it over, to try and change the way production was happening. What do you think about that occupation?
I think they were absolutely justified in doing that. I went down to support them. And as it happens, I'm going to the Isle of Wight again tomorrow, because it's no good just going and making a statement and giving a bit of political solidarity. You've got to think through the implication. And one of the terrible things about the Isle of Wight situation was that Vestas were there. They'd had no encouragement from the people on their doorstep. So when they went back to their headquarters in Denmark, and the people in Denmark said, well, have you persuaded the Isle of Wight to have renewable energy, to use any of the things you make? The answer was no. The local authority.
Sure, but who do you think is to blame here in this situation with the factory being closed down? Do you think the blame is here with Vestas? Is it with the government? Is it with the workers, the community?
I think the politicians are the people who have the most to answer for. If the government had acted much more quickly to incentivise renewable energy in this country, then there would have been opportunities for the products to be sold into the UK market and not just abroad.
But Vestas said from the start that they were following the market, and we're constantly being told that the free market is a law unto itself, that the market will regulate itself.
It doesn't, and you have to intervene. And if you go around the country, most of the local authorities, whatever they say, have not been giving planning applications for wind turbines.
Sure, but this kind of idea that we have to intervene in the markets and so on has been said by our governments for decade after decade after decade, and we never see any progress on it. In fact, all we see is emissions going up, production going up, consumerism going up. I mean, do you really think that working within politics is going to, within our current political systems, is going to be able to change that?
Well, let's deal with the two issues. There have been interventions by government. For example, they've subsidised the nuclear industry all the time.
But the nuclear industry is something which is damaging our world just as much as high production.
The government have intervened. So they pretend it's a free market system, but it's not a free market system. They've had a body to promote the nuclear industry. In theory, they've had a body to promote renewables, but have they put the similar amount of resource around? No, they haven't. The answer to your bigger question is the political system has not delivered on its own. And that's why conventional politics, reformist politics, is not enough. You have to have people pushing the system. Direct action is needed. Peaceful direct action the world over has moved on. Political
and how about non-peaceful direct action? How about taking illegal action, which has helped so many causes? Would you side with that? At the camp we do take illegal action to ensure that emissions are cut at the root cause.
No, there's a difference between non-peaceful and illegal action. The reality is sometimes you do have to break the law in order to make the point, in order to change the system. I've always accepted that. Laws are decided by a formula, a process, a majority, but they're not always right. We don't get it right all the time. And people are entitled to make decisions, say, I'm not going to accept that.
So I take it you'll be supporting us in October when we go to the coal-fired power station at Ratcliffe and shut that down to make sure that emissions stop?
I think it's a campaign that's absolutely worthy of support as a principle. Whether you get me there or not doing the action, I have to make sure I'm there to argue the case and do support it. But I'll be at King's North after I've been to the Isle of Wight. I'm very keen that we win the Isle. We've got to change the way we do energy production in this country. And the really important issue is this. Places like Drax, places like the big power stations in the East Midlands, they are imposed, they're national, they're regional, they're controlled by international companies. We want our energy to be produced locally, democratically, where people can be in control, where communities can say, look, this is of benefit to us. It's a wholly different cultural atmosphere. And places like Denmark and places like Germany understand that, and places like the UK often don't.
Brilliant. Simon Hughes there, supporting grassroots illegal direct action to cut emissions to the root cause. Thanks very much. You're watching Climate Camp TV.